Live, we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to. Excuse me. Tiamiso, I just started my live now, and you're making noise. Can you close the sliding door? Thank you, and keep it down. Thank you, and keep it down. Okay. Love you. Sharp. Close. Sharp. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Losing in Love podcast with Madam Speaker. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self Love. If you're joining for the first time, welcome to the family of healing, self love, and motivation. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the continuous love and support that you are showing me. Bazalwani, hey, you know what? I'm tired of being an apologist. Ne? I'm apologizing every week now. So I'm apologizing now for the rest of the year. And I apologize for starting late. Today is a Thursday. It's our usual day for doing Losing in Love podcast. I'm late, so that's why I'm saying that I'm apologizing. Because I was trying to catch up with what I wanted us to talk about because it's long. Okay. For those who are actually watching from YouTube, I believe you can see the thumbnail already, so you know what we're talking about. For those who are on TikTok, I think I wrote it on the title, but yeah, I will brief you guys just now. And also because I didn't prepare the people beforehand, as and when we are progressing with the program, I'm going to continuously brief the new people who are coming in so that they can be up to speed to what we are talking about today. I can see a request coming in from somebody requesting that we should co-host. Unfortunately, on this podcast, we don't co-host. We only add you in as a guest. So if you want to be part of the panel, please just request to be a guest instead of co-hosting, because co-hosting means that we close channels for other people, and I prefer an open discussion. I prefer a panel full of people so that we can all agree and disagree and just engage as a beautiful community that we are. So if you still want to join and be part, just request as a guest instead of as a co-host, okay? And also, if you're joining in from YouTube, because obviously this is going to remain even after the life has come to an end, please do mention where you're joining in from. Just say, what's up, Mzalwani? I'm joining in from Centurion. I'm joining in from Cape Town. I'm joining in from, yeah, so just tell me where you're joining in from. I think that would be nice because I want to get to know where my community is coming from. But anyway, I've been getting a lot of mentions there from some people on Facebook. Not on Facebook, I'm lying. On TikTok. There's a lady who did a story of my horror story, a horror and Nanny Diaries. A horror story with her Zimbabwean helper. It's part 1 to part 10. Ne? And okay, I'm gonna have to decline the request to join as a co-host, guys. Now please request again as a guest. I will definitely accept. So she was doing a horror story. Ne? Some few people mentioned me, a couple of times, but Namibia is in the house. I see you. I appreciate you, Sylvia P. Love you, long time. I see you from time to time, and I appreciate you so much. From Zambia, also Charity, I appreciate you. I really, really appreciate you guys. So as I was still saying, guys, that if you want to join in as a guest, please do so that we can engage. But I'm gonna brief you on the story, ne? The lady, her title was saying that a horror story with my Zimbabwean helper, right? Um, so people were mentioning me from time to time, but I was lazy because the story is like 10 parts, guys. Like, I don't know why people do these 10 parts on TikTok, because TikTok, it's not like YouTube where you can listen while you are on the phone doing other things. You literally have to be on the app while you are listening that 10 minutes. Go to the next one, 10 minutes. Next one, 10 minutes. It reminds me of that sister of mine who did videos about me, 7 parts of how I betrayed her. I literally had to fast forward 2 times 2 to hear what I did. I still didn't get it. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, all these parts, you literally have to go through all of them for you to actually get to the bottom of the story. So I did the same with our sister Lelo. I'm sure she was even shocked when she saw people mentioning me, because a lot of people actually mentioned me. So I try to listen, because today also, when I addressed the issue of Ndoisile, somebody actually mentioned me. She's like, I need you to address this issue of Lelo and the helper from Zimbabwe. What is your thought about that? I don't know whether they wanted me to address it because Ndoisile is from Zimbabwe and the helper is from Zimbabwe, or they just wanted me to talk about it because usually in the beginning of the year, that's the best time for us to talk about helpers, because did your helper come back? Did your helper go and never come back? Did they switch off their phones or what? But also with me personally, I'm not really a big fan of talking. I don't have a story about, okay, don't, guys, the thing is, sometimes when you speak, when you don't have an experience of something, it feels like you're speaking from a point of luxury. So it becomes very difficult for you to make a discretion of some sort. So with me, when it comes to helpers, it always feels like I'm speaking from a point of luxury because I've had one helper. This is our 11th year. Like, I've had my helper since my child was 3 weeks old. Now he's turning 11 this year. So you understand that even if I say, no, actually, you should try this, you should try that, it'll be me speaking from a point of luxury because I don't have the experience. Um, but let me brief you guys for those who don't know about Lelo's story. Lelo was actually just sharing a story of how she had this helper from Zimbabwe that was a liar, and she explained that the helper was mothering them, her and her husband. The first part did so well because people were liking and people were listening to the story. But as the parts were progressing, people felt like, I know she's just a mean boss. But what I like about her is that she didn't, stop after she had all this negative stuff that people were saying. She continued with the story until the end. And also another thing that I loved about her story is that at the end she also reflected, regardless of whether she reflected because she was seeing a lot of negative comments or she reflected because really that's what she wanted to do. But it's a good thing that she reflected. She had her lessons learned and everything. The same as the story of my sister who did a 7 parts about me, I still feel like even Lelo's story of her horror story with the helper, it's one of those that should have remained in the drafts. That's my opinion. And also, like I said in the beginning, that I feel like I should not be, it would be like I'm speaking from a point of luxury because I don't have these terrible experiences that other people have with helpers, you know? So, but basically, with her story, when she was saying that her helper was bossy, her helper, when she leaves things, she would be like, this is why are you leaving this in the house? The child is going to choke, this and that. The helper was just that, was behaving like a mother-in-law type of thing. And it went as far as them disagreeing, the helper having high expectations when she was sick, expecting her to buy her something, when she goes out for takeaway, expecting these things. And I think the most challenging thing about the whole thing was the fact that the helper was actually vocal about it, to say there are certain people that even though they want to say it, they can't say it, they keep quiet. But this helper specifically was very loud. She did, after people started coming for her and asking her, did you really have to say a helper from Zimbabwe? You could have just said, my helper, a helper, a horror story with a helper. Why does it have to be about her coming from Zimbabwe? And as the story was progressing and things were getting heated, she went to as far as saying that she didn't want to give this helper money because she didn't want to be bewitched. She didn't want her money to be tied with some tree in Zimbabwe and all that stuff. So I think how she was blunt and honest about how she felt, a lot of people were taking offense. And remember, when it comes to you sharing your story, and I saw a comment also from somebody who was saying every time when the helper and this Nanny Diary stories, when they come up, we always find the culprit to be the madam. But I don't think it's entirely true. It's just that, hi, I don't know, Bazalwan. But the stories with the helpers, for me, I feel like if you let her go, you let her go. But also because, like I'm saying, that she reflected on some of the things in her reflection video where she's saying, well, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. Because for me, the most confusing thing from the get-go was when she said that they tried, her and her husband, because they're good people, they're good hosts, they tried to get the helper to be as comfortable as possible, which is, I believe, Hore, if we want to stay with somebody full-time, we want to make them feel comfortable. I know with my own story, when I stayed with a helper for the first time, I was so uncomfortable, and I was nervous. I was actually nervous before the helper came to stay with us because I didn't know how I was going to be able to handle another person in my space, because my space was just mine. But as time went by, I got used to having someone around, to a point where now we are technically family. I go to my helper's house and I sleep there for like a day or two or whatever. My kids go there, they spend the holidays. I take her home with me. So we're not even about that helper and employee relationship, we're about sisters now, you know. She's been with me through it all, guys, even when I couldn't afford to pay her, but I would have to cut from other areas because I had to let go. They had said I must let go of her. I still didn't, you know, because to me she was more than just a helper. She was a sister, you know. She was more than just a helper, and she still is even now. So, depending on the other person's way of receiving you, I think this relationship of a worker and an employee, it's an employer and an employee. It's a two-way street, you know. We both have to do our parts. But when we check the story of, guys, I don't know if you guys watched the story, but if you didn't watch the story, you should actually consider going to have a look at it. But if you watch the story of Lelo, her and her husband, like I was saying, that they said that because they're good hosts, they were trying to make her feel comfortable, you know. And in the efforts of them trying to make her feel comfortable, she ended up now behaving like a mother. And then now, in the long run, Lelo is starting to feel like, hey, who do you think you are? How are you going to talk to me like that in my house? This is my house. Why are you telling me I must not stop? I must not leave things lying around and you talk to me like I'm a child. This is my house. But the the one thing that I feel like for me it's an issue is like the reflection part, you know, when she's reflecting on it, to say maybe one of the biggest reflections is learning how to draw the boundaries, you know, to say you must decide what you want. If you want to have that strict relationship with your worker or with your helper, you must enforce it from the get-go. You can't only have a strict relationship when it favors you, and when it doesn't favor you, you feel like, I know this one is crossing the line. Because once you allow somebody to cross the line, there's no discretion. Once they've crossed the line, they cross everything, you know. Because if you're saying that you take somebody with you when you're going for takeaways, you make them feel comfortable, you ask them questions, they answer you. Tomorrow, when you now want to be serious and that you must ask questions, they must ask you questions and tell you what to do. When do we decide to be serious and not to be serious, to be employee and employer, and to be sister and sister? You know, you must pick one. You can't have all, you know. So that's just me. So and also, regardless of what you decide, it doesn't necessarily mean that both these relationships are going to work out, you know, because you can decide to be a strict employee, and that person ends up feeling like, yo, this is Pharaoh's house, I can't live here, and then they end up leaving, they end up going, you understand? Also, you can decide that, no, I want to be a sister, then they take advantage of you and they just start walking all over you. So I think, depending on, you should be a good judge of character, you know. You should deal with individuals differently. I mean, I always say that one thing that I thank God for is the fact that I'm a good judge of character. I know how to approach different people in different ways, meaning that all relationships are individual. There are some people that, because you know, when you are too kind, people can easily walk all over you. I always say that I have a problem with people coming closer to me, because from a distance, people really think that I'm like, yo, you know, I'm unapproachable. I will just be mean and rude and whatever. I could go to a shop and cause drama. People think that from a distance, because of how strong my voice is and how much of a loudmouth I am. Until you actually get closer to me and you realize, well, this one I can walk all over it. It is stupid. It is a dumb. I can take advantage of it. I can extort it. I can, you know. So I think the the I don't know what to call it, ne? But there's the beauty in you being aware of somebody's vulnerability and somebody's weak points and somebody's, you know, yeah, but you still choose not to take advantage of that, even though you are aware of the type of person that you are. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that I have friends who are close to me who know that, in as much as I'm a giver, they know not to cross, to push me, because they know that if I push this one, because she loves me, she will give me and still walk naked, you know. So, because I think it's very important, because I also have people in my life that I can struggle to tell when I'm going through stuff, because I know their hearts. I know they will go an extra mile, and I don't want to stress them to a certain degree. You understand what I mean? So having such people in your life is very, very important. And for you to be able to tell the type of people who are in your life, treat different people differently. Relationships are individual, including even relationships. I always give this example that even relationships with your children, or as a child, your relationship with your parent is not the same as that parent's relationship with the other child and the other child. I think I got to learn a lot about what I used to call favoritism when I was growing up, you know. I think also maybe that's another topic that we must revisit in the future, where we talk about this whole thing of child favoritism and all that stuff, because parents relate to kids differently under different circumstances and all that stuff. So with one parent, with one child, that's when maybe we now start interpreting that as favoritism. I know with my own kids, the younger one is very considerate. She's like me. She can give you her last whatever and not be having anything. So I know with her, I'm always firm to say, no, don't give away everything. No, you must leave some for yourself. Like I'm literally drilling in that self-love in my daughter because of how selfless she is, and that bothers me a lot because look, it ended me here where I now needed to heal from all that people pleasing. So she's got traces of people pleasing, so I don't want to water that. I want to balance it to say you must share, but also you must remember that yes, you must also still keep to yourself because she. And then with the boy on the other hand, he wants to keep. So with him, I have to teach him to say, you must share. And also he's very sensitive, so I must also say, no, listen, this is how we do, you know. So that means that obviously the relationship with the girl is not going to be the same with the relationship with the boy. This one, I know how to handle him, I know how to talk to him, I know things that I should and shouldn't. You understand, it's not the same. So when you are looking at these different relationships with two different people that are both coming from me, you would think that maybe this one is the favorite because when you are with this one, you're always laughing, you're always doing dances, you're always doing this. And while you're with the other one, on the other hand, you just have heart to heart conversations. So I think the same thing applies to all relationships across the board, you know, be it your work or whatever, to say, when you let people into your life, you need to read the energy also to say, okay, this is the type of person that if I don't draw boundaries and enforce them, they're going to walk all over me. But if I do that, then they will know that this is the line that you don't cross. Another thing that I feel like for me, I picked up from that video was the issue of bottling things on the inside. This person is disrespecting you in your house and you are holding it in. Disrespecting you in your house, you're holding it in. When you address issues, you address them in a joking manner. You don't do that, guys. You don't do that. I'm hoping that maybe eventually at some point this lady will get to see this video and she'll get to learn this, to say, you don't, you address issues. Now I believe in sitting down. I learned this from therapy, that when you are addressing kids, yeah, my therapist used to give me an example with my kids to say, if you're addressing the kids, already by the fact that you are taller and they're short, that intimidates them, you know. So, and they know that they don't have defense. They can't defend themselves against you as a parent, you know. So the fact that you are taller and you are addressing them, why did you do that? Why did you? Literally, you are looking at them, they're down there, you are up here. That's intimidation already. That's fear already. This person is not going to hear what you are saying. So that's why sometimes you ask yourself, this child, is this child bewitched? Because I keep telling this child the same thing over and over and over again, but they keep repeating the same things. It's because when you were talking to them and addressing it, you were intimidating them. So they were just saying yes to everything because they were scared. You understand what I mean? So when you sit down with people, when you address them, it's so that you can all be on the same level. So this is what I do also with my kids. We are on the same level so that nobody's intimidating each other. So I feel like also on one of the parts of the videos, I heard her saying to the helper, this is my house. You don't get to talk to me like that in my house. And this is a person that has been getting away with talking to you like that in your house. And also that makes it difficult for the other person to hear you. It makes them go straight into defense mode. Because if you are going to address somebody like that and you feel like because it's in your house, it's not mutual ground, then that means you need to step out. You need to go for coffee, discuss it outside where nobody's feeling intimidated, because you're in a public space, nobody's intimidating anyone, you see. So the issue of her addressing things just like that, and a lot of people do this, you know, where they address nannies like, you shouldn't, you laugh about it, but deep down, you know, this is something that is actually bothering you. So sitting down with people, guys, like this, apply this in every area of your life, it's gonna work. And by also another thing I just want to say, I'm not a professional, and don't be saying, Yeah, but this is just from my head what I've learned about life, so you can actually take note. um you sit people down so that you can be level-headed, and when you address people, you try to address them in your normal voice. Try to be as normal as possible, um this I have learned, and I apply it in every area of my life, and it comes across as very toxic sometimes, where people would always ask me, Ori, Perseverance, this person swore at you, but in your response, your tone, like, guys, if you check my tones, even when I'm telling you where to get off and I'm dragging you to the pit of hell, this is my tone. This is my tone. It doesn't fluctuate. The only time you'll hear me loud, it's when I'm laughing and we're in a room full of people, or I'm shocked. My sister, that would be me. But if we're addressing issues, this is my voice. If I'm telling you, this is my voice. You understand? So you keep your voice like that, because remember, there's this thing. Okay, I wanted to tell you the reason why I've gotten to be this person that addresses issues in this manner. A lot of times I've had women struggling to articulate themselves, because immediately after you are done talking, they say to you, so why are you raising your voice? All of that explanation, guys, I'm one person that explains in details, and there's nothing that defeats me like after explaining in detail, and somebody still is stubborn, because I try to explain like I'm talking to a grade one child, even when I'm talking to an adult. And I prefer the same thing even with myself. If you want to explain something to me, talk to me like you're talking to a child, So once you are done expressing yourself, this is what you did to me, this is what you did to me. And when you are done, they come to you with just one punchline. So why are you shouting? Yes, yeah, you are angry, but why are you shouting? So it then nullifies everything that you have said. So for you to actually get your point across, you literally have to always have a neutral voice, so that you say whatever you want to say. Even if you want to say, "Ungangijwayeli kabi," don't disrespect me like that. You say it in the same voice. Then their message will get across to say, no, here I'm being taken for a P, and I will not tolerate it. So when you are level-headed and you keep your voice to be the same, you get your point across. The minute you feel like, okay, the highs are going high now, vacate premises. That conversation must be over, because anything that's going to come out of your mouth after that, it's not going to be repairable, which is literally exactly what happened to Lelo's story, which is why they ended up having to be at the police station and everything. All of that could have been avoided by not bottling things in, sitting down and addressing issues level-headed like this. If you feel like I have authority because this is my house, we take it out. We go to Mug and Bean, we go to Cappuccinos, we go to Wimpy, we talk, these are my issues, and then when we are done, we go back home. You continue with your duties, I continue with mine. And also another thing that I feel like I have to give it to her, the fact that she's new to this. I think she's a new mom, because they keep speaking about just one child and nieces and nephews and all that stuff. She's a new mom, so, and it's the first time they're having a full-time helper. These tips are going to help, even if it's you guys and you want to help another helper and whatever. These things can actually help, to say, there are relationships that you can see as time goes by, that this, you can promote it into sisterhood, you can promote it, and there's those that must just remain in one position forever and ever. Hallelujah, amen. A sister of mine, she actually had asked me to do a video about this, but I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. It's not a paid promo, so I won't do it, but I'm gonna bring it up here today. It's my sister, ne? She was telling me that she had actually asked me to come to her house to speak to her helper, because her helper was wearing their stuff. Can you believe it? Like, this woman literally would just wear her husband's slippers, her husband, like literally everything she finds, she takes, she wears. If she's finding slippers, she's wearing. She finds a t-shirt, she's wearing. Like, it's like, guys, the way we were raised so differently. It's like everything belongs to everyone. Yeah, we are all living in this house. We are eating from the same pot. So your t-shirt is my t-shirt. Like, I'm like, what time? What time did people get to learn that? Guys, the way I'm so fussy with my clothes. I don't like people touching my stuff without my permission. Imagine you come back from work and you find your helper wearing your slippers and your t-shirt. Be like, that one is bad. Your helper is wearing your husband's t-shirt and your husband's slippers and socks. And when you ask her, she's like, "Ah, no, Kitty, I found them somewhere in the. I was watching. No, this, so casual. So the problem starts where you can't sit her down and you tell her, "Oh, no, Mama, this is not right." You wanna be playful about it. Hey, you're not even scared of wearing the things of the man of the house. Hey, you're not even. My sister, come and talk to him. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Once you guys have entered into a contract to say these are the things that I expect you to do for me, this is how much I'm gonna pay you per month. These are the arrangements that we guys. I come a long way with my helper. Like literally, we not. She's not even my help. She's my sister. I come such a long way to a point where we understand each other's schedule very, very well. Do you see how busy I am as a person right now? Like, I'm so busy. I'm never available like every weekend. Yes, now since the beginning of the year, I've been available every weekend. But if she's supposed to go home month end, because usually she goes home, she knocks off last weekend of the month. If I'm going to be out of town, I just tell her in advance, I'm not going to be here. Then her kids can come. She can go home the following week. She can literally even go home 3 weeks in a row. I can literally ship all of them, even with my kids, to her house. December 26th, November, go. You will come back whenever. I remember we were joking about it when I was home in December. Because this year, I think on the 26th, when we got paid, I was like, everybody in this house, go to your father's house. I don't want to see anyone in this house. So my younger sister, she was here. She went to her father's house, which is my father's house. My helper, she went to her father's house. My kids, they went to their father's house. I was like, I want everybody at their father's house. So after everybody has gone to their father's house, the whole of December, I think around the 16th, 17th, she calls me. She's like, my sister, what you did to me this year, you must never, ever, 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 ever do it. Making me knock off this early. I'm working like a slave here at home. Must never. I haven't even worked. So she came back, I think, for like 2 days. She helped me with my washing and whatever, because my washing was like, and then she went back again. But for us to get to that point where we at that, it took 11 flipping years to build that relationship. And I don't want to lie to you and say in that 11 years we haven't had quarrels. We haven't had times where literally my heart would break to a point where I would even cry, to a point where I would see that, okay, there's something I did we need to address, to a point where she's sick, I have to take her to the hospital. Like, we've been through, I'm sick, she has to take care of me. Guys, me and this woman, we've been through so much together. But it took 11 years to build all of that. So with you and your new helper that is coming in, you are new to motherhood, you are new to having a stay-in helper, you literally have to come back to yourself a lot more often. And also, I think another thing that I saw that people were complaining about a lot in her videos, most people are just bitter in general. There's a lot of people who actually didn't like the fact that she was mentioning her husband a lot. For me, I found it very cute, where she would say, my husband is hands on, my husband would never lie to me, so I knew the helper was the one that was lying. And people are like, your husband will never lie. That one, I just feel like, they're just jealous people, they're jealous people. um I didn't see anything wrong with that. Like, guys, embrace your partners all the time. Embrace them, because it's only a few of us. Okay. Yeah. But it's by the grace of God that you get to be there. So I think reflection on self also is very important, guys. If you have a helper and things are not working out, it starts with you. And also, you must decide for yourself if this whole relationship of being a sister and a sister works for you, or if you don't have boundaries. Because remember, the problem with you taking your helper and turning them into your sister, and you don't have boundaries, they're gonna take over your house because you don't have boundaries. And also, another thing with me, this is my own issue, né? Mine. This is mine. I don't know how to tell people what to do. I find it very difficult. So because I've stayed with this person for so long, she already knows that. For example, when they come back in the beginning of the year, they found that I turned the house upside down. Like, I changed everything. The sofas were like this, now they're like this. I put in new decorative stuff. I'm like, I changed even in my room. I changed everything. I bought everything that I felt like was, because remember, I was alone the whole December. Like, guys, the whole December. You see all this content I was creating in December, I was like this. The whole December was eating my youth. I was alone. So, for me, what I prefer, this is my preference, né? And it's not for everyone. We used to laugh about this with my ex-sister-in-law, Because what my ex-sister-in-law would do is after the helper was done cleaning, because she had a lot of helpers, like literally her kids grew up under, don't know, every month there's a new helper. So what she would do is she would shift the couch, sweep it in front of the helper for the helper to see. That is very uncomfortable, excuse me. And then be like, what is this? What is this? And you said you cleaned. So, I don't have the guts to do that. And also another thing, I don't have the guts to tell someone to do that. I don't have the guts to say to you, sweep under the, do this, do that. I don't have those guts. And what I have guts for is to clean where I need to clean, and I expect you to maintain it. I'll tell you, my sister, do you see how clean this thing is? Please keep it like this. My sister, do you see how I put this thing here? Do you see how it's smelling here? Do you see how this? Please make sure you keep it like, maintain the standard. So I set the standard. I will show you what I need to be done, and you must just maintain that for me. That works for me. But that doesn't work for everyone. For other people, it requires you sitting down and doing reflection. Every now and then you do a reflection to say, okay, this is what you've been doing in this quarter. This worked, this didn't work. And for me, that works with my kids only, because I think with my helper, I think the conversations that we used to have in the past would be things like, treat it like it's your house. What are things that you would need to do in your house to keep it clean? Nobody tells you what to do. You just do it yourself. So do it like that. I'll be out of your way. And it's been working out for me, right? Now, the only people that I do reflections with, it's the little bambinos. Because, listen, the other one is 6, the other one is 10. I still need to sit them down and revisit certain topics that I've had with them in the past to say, guys, do you remember? Do you remember? How was your 2024? Was it good? What are the things, challenges? Are there any complaints? What did you not like about it? Okay, now in 2025, do you guys still remember? Because now, remember, guys, I'm jolary, like I always say. So we were having a conversation with the little kids about how they've never seen me kissing any guy. The only guy that they've ever seen me kissing is my ex-husband, right? And when I asked this question, I'm like, have you guys ever seen me kissing any guy? They're like, no, only dad when you guys were still married. So the younger one was like, Mina, I never saw you kissing, not even Papa. So remember, she was 3 years when we got divorced, so she doesn't remember some of those things. The older one is the one that actually remembers. So kissing is things that a boyfriend and a girlfriend does, or a husband and a wife does. So me having to say to them, at some point in my life, I'm gonna have to be kissing someone. So I'm gonna have a boyfriend. I'm gonna be involved with someone, preparing them for the things which are still going to happen in the future, because I am kissing someone in their absence. I just want them to, in their head, always remember that this setup, things might change, because I don't want the pressure of my kids feeling like they're betrayed, or the guy that I'm bringing in their lives is here to replace them. I want to prepare them. I don't believe in ambushing people. Like, okay, this is your new father, and that's it. No, I don't like that. Your father is your father, and that is it. But anyway, going back to the issue of sitting down and reflecting. So, what did you not like? Is there anything that you guys don't understand? Is there anything you're not happy with that I'm doing? Are there things that you like that I'm doing? And all that stuff. And I think it's just that it's gonna be a bit tricky for me because my kids are still very much hyped up. Yeah, they're hyped up about me being this social media person. So I think the problem, ish, I don't even know how I'm gonna resolve. Okay, I don't even know whether I need to resolve this or not. So the thing is, I think the kids they play with, their mothers watch me. Ne? So it feels like they have this content creator mom. They push it to the limit. They even start calling me a celebrity. Mama, my friend so says you're a celebrity mom. So for them, it feels like I'm a dream come true of what a mom, like I'm the mom that other kids desire to have because I'm this cool mom, cool hair, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. But in essence, what I'm trying to get from them is I want them to be as free as possible to be able to express themselves, even when they're not happy. Starting with knowing how to say thank you, knowing to say I apologize, knowing how to reflect and be accountable for the wrongs that you have done. That is why when I ask, what is it that you did not like about what I did or what I said or what happened yesterday, I want them to tell me what I did or how I offended them, so that they hear from me that there's such a thing called an apology. then I will say I am sorry for one, two, three. So that tomorrow when somebody has done something, they know that there's a thing called an apology, you know. So yeah, basically that is it. I feel like the whole nanny thing, there's not really a lot to address. I know that we have not been having a lot of horror stories of nannies. That's why I said in the beginning of this live that I feel like the story of Lelo, you know, and also I did put a disclaimer that I don't want to judge her because I would be speaking from a point of luxury because I don't have horror nanny stories. But I feel like we've had so many horror nanny stories. It goes back to that comparison of me comparing with my sister who just did a 7-part video about how Madam Speaker disappointed me to say it's not really, it should have stayed in the draft, you know, it shouldn't have made it to the public. So even with Lelo's story, I feel like, yeah, it's one of those stories that really, they don't hold water enough for me. For me, I feel like no, it's not. We've seen horror stories, horror nanny stories, you know, but I thank God that it never got to that point where it's a horror nanny story. And yeah, for it to be out here and people having to crucify her, hey, they're now talking about salaries of the nannies and what, and like people are just, hey, women, hey, women just don't like each other, hey, women just don't like each other, and I don't know what must happen. It's like the only time we unite is when one woman is killed, and we're uniting because we're saying, like, literally, it's like we are meant to be fighting all the time. It's either we are fighting with each other or we are fighting with men because they killed one woman. But when we are done fighting with men, then we come back and we fight with each other. So I don't know what kind of madness or what is the solution to all of that. But yeah, there's a lot that still needs to be changed in that area. But otherwise, you guys will let me know what you think in the comment section. Also, if you want us to do maybe another part where, obviously, guys, for me, like I said, this is probably going to be one of those straightforward topics, especially if we're not going to be having anybody coming in, because I don't have horror nanny stories, you know. I've had one nanny, and she's lasted me 11 years. So I, I don't see myself having a horror in story to share with you guys. And based on the story that has been shared with the Lelo story, it's still also not a horror story. It's just a straightforward story of what happens in households where you can just really learn to say next time, please refrain from, okay, don't refrain from befriending your nannies. Know yourself first. If you know you can't draw the line, if you don't have boundaries, then don't be befriending nannies that are already territorial and they're already bossy because they're going to overpower you. But if you're going to get a helper who is, you know, kind, reserved, then that one you can befriend, you know, because people are different, relationships are different. Anyway, I think I have to love you and leave you guys. I will see you guys on the flip side as and when the need arises, guys. Yes, I know that Thursday is our day, but should the need arise earlier than Thursday, we are going to still come together and speak and engage and discuss and everything and everything. There's something big that's coming in 2025 that I cannot wait to share with you guys. But all I can say is please don't lose hope, don't give up on yourself. Um, there's this thing that I always say that when I go through a difficult time, it hurts, it's painful, but I cannot wait to see what God has in store for me on the other side, because I always feel like it's a sacrifice when I go through a tough time, because surely there must be a reward for it, you know. So surely this 2025 I'm seeing like rewards. I'm just seeing rewards in 2025, and I can't wait to share, because I remember I spoke to a friend yesterday and I was sharing with her what is happening in my life, and she was like to me, my friend, you still need to go back to the people who were there with you and for you that time when you were going through the worst, and share with them this so that they can continue and keep their lights burning and have that hope, because people give up along the way. People, like, if you involve people, because I always say that I only share 10% of my life with the public, but the actual drama, nah, my life is drama, but the drama happens in the 90 that I don't share. And I'm comfortable with that, because obviously this is the niche that I've chosen, or that has chosen me, and I'm gonna stick to it. But parts of what is happening in my life is what I'm gonna be sharing with you guys going forward. But yeah, anyway, please look out for really, really good things that are coming. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for those who have been signing in for membership, and also my beautiful, beautiful people from all different countries, especially my beautiful African country. You know, guys, I'm such a proud African girl. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you. I'll see you on the flip side. God bless you. Mwah, mwah.